Why Green Lantern sucks, but also doesn't. Green Lantern is one of the most iconic and enduring superheroes in DC Comics roster. Created in 1940, the character has evolved over the decades into a cornerstone of the DC universe. The concept is undeniably cool. An intergalactic police force known as the Green Lantern Corps, powered by rings that channel the energy of willpower. These rings can create anything the wearer imagines, limited only by their creativity and strength of will. The lore is rich, with a universe full of alien species, cosmic threats, and moral complexity. It's a premise ripe for epic storytelling, which makes the 2011 Green Lantern movie all the more disappointing. The film, starring Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan, had the potential to be a groundbreaking space opera. Instead, it became a cautionary tale of wasted potential. Let's break it down. Why Green Lantern sucks, why it doesn't entirely deserve the hate, and what could have been done better. The good, what works. First, let's give credit where it's due. Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan is a casting choice that makes sense on paper. Hal Jordan is a cocky, charismatic test pilot who becomes the first human to join the Green Lantern Corps. Reynolds has the charm, wit, and swagger to pull off the role, and in moments, he does. His natural charisma shines through even when the script lets him down. There's a reason Reynolds has become one of Hollywood's most beloved actors. He's effortlessly likable, and that likability carries some of the film's weaker moments. The visuals, while inconsistent, have their moments. The design of Oa, the home planet of the Green Lantern Corps, is visually striking. The alien members of the Corps, like Kilowog and Tomar-Ray, are faithfully adapted from the comics and add depth to the universe. Kilowog, the gruff drill sergeant tasked with training new recruits, is a standout character, and his interactions with Hal provide some of the film's more entertaining scenes. The constructs created by the ring, giant fists, fighter jets, and even a racetrack are creative and fun, showcasing the limitless potential of the ring's power. The concept itself is still compelling. A space cop with a magic ring fighting cosmic threats? That's a recipe for an epic superhero movie. The film also hints at the broader mythology of the Green Lantern Corps, including the rise of Sinestro, played by Mark Strong, as a potential villain. Strong's performance as Sinestro is one of the film's highlights. He's menacing, dignified, and perfectly cast. His subplot, which sets up his eventual fall from grace and transformation into a villain, is one of the few threads that feels like it has real potential. The bad. Why it sucks. Now, let's get to the heart of the problem, the execution. The script is a mess. It tries to cram too much into one movie. Hal Jordan's origin story, the introduction of the Green Lantern Corps, a generic romance subplot, and not one, but two villains. The result is a film that feels overstuffed and underdeveloped. The villains are a major weak point. Parallax, a giant cloud of fear, is visually uninteresting and lacks any real menace. It's hard to take a swirling yellow smoke monster seriously as a cosmic threat. Parallax is supposed to be the embodiment of fear, but the film never explores this concept in a meaningful way. Instead, it reduces Parallax to a generic destroy-the-world villain, which is a waste of a potentially fascinating antagonist. Hector Hammond, played by Peter Sarsgaard, is equally underwhelming. While Sarsgaard does his best with the material, the character feels like a distraction from the main story. His transformation into a grotesque, telepathic villain is more silly than scary, and his motivations are paper-thin. Hammond's jealousy of Hal and his unrequited crush on Carol Ferris, Blake Lively, are supposed to humanize him, but they come across as shallow and unconvincing. The movie would have been better off focusing on one antagonist, preferably Sinestro, whose arc is far more compelling. The tone is another issue. The movie can't decide if it wants to be a serious space epic or a lighthearted superhero comedy. One moment, Hal is grappling with the weight of his new responsibilities. The next, he's making awkward jokes or engaging in cringe-worthy banter with Carol Ferris. This tonal inconsistency makes it hard to connect with the story or characters. The romance subplot between Hal and Carol feels tacked on and lacks chemistry, despite Reynolds and Lively's real-life relationship. Their scenes together are filled with cliched dialogue and predictable beats. which undermines any emotional investment in their relationship. Then, there's the CGI suit. The decision to make Hal's Green Lantern suit entirely CGI was a mistake. It looks unnatural and distracts from Reynolds' performance. A practical suit with some CGI enhancements would have been far more effective. The suit's glossy, plastic-like appearance has been widely mocked, and for good reason. It's a visual representation of the movie's larger problems. The over-reliance on CGI extends to other parts of the film as well, making some scenes feel weightless and artificial. Finally, the film wastes its potential. The Green Lantern mythos is vast and full of storytelling opportunities, but the movie barely scratches the surface. Instead of exploring the core, their history, or the emotional spectrum, which includes other Lantern Corps like the Red Lanterns or Sinestro Corps, it settles for a generic origin story. The result is a film that feels small and uninspired, despite its cosmic scale. The movie's climax, which involves Hal defeating Parallax by creating a giant green fist and punching it into the sun, is emblematic of its lack of ambition. It's a visually underwhelming and narratively unsatisfying resolution to a story that should have been epic. The legacy of Green Lantern. Despite its flaws, Green Lantern isn't entirely without merit. It introduced mainstream audiences to the character and laid some groundwork for future adaptations. Ryan Reynolds has since poked fun at the movie, most notably in Deadpool 2, which has given it a sort of cult status as a so-bad-it's-good film. The movie's failure also serves as a cautionary tale for superhero films. It highlights the importance of a strong script, a clear tone, and a focus on character development. While the concept of Green Lantern is inherently cool, it's not enough to carry a movie on its own. The film's failure had significant repercussions for the DC Extended Universe DCEU. Plans for a Green Lantern sequel were scrapped, and the character was largely absent from the DCEU until Zack Snyder's Justice League 2021, which teased the introduction of Jon Stewart, another Green Lantern. The upcoming Green Lantern Corps series on HBO Max has the opportunity to learn from the mistakes of the 2011 film and deliver a more faithful and compelling adaptation of the source material. Conclusion. So why does Green Lantern suck? It's a messy, uneven film with a weak script, poor pacing, and underwhelming villains. It fails to live up to the potential of its source material, settling for a generic origin story instead of embracing the epic scope of the Green Lantern mythos. But it's not all bad. Ryan Reynolds' performance was a cool concept, and some visually striking moments show glimpses of what could have been. The movie's failure has also paved the way for future adaptations to learn from its mistakes. In the end, Green Lantern is a reminder that even the best ideas can fall flat without the right execution. It's a film that sucks, but it's also a film that could have been great. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most frustrating thing about it. It's a missed opportunity, a cosmic-sized disappointment that leaves you wondering what might